In the body of Christ, the strong help the weak, and the healthy help the ailing. No one has to face life's tough times alone. As each member of the body first submits to God and then serves others, the whole body thrives. Today, some practical words on how we can also support each other in times of need. Stay with us. From Chicago's Moody Church, this is Running to Win with Dr. Erwin Lutzer, whose clear teaching helps us make it across the finish line. Turn with us to Romans chapter 12 as we continue our series on Finding Where You Fit. Dr. Lutzer is speaking to us on finding your priorities and tells us how the body of Christ can be a place of healing.
When you have a broken bone, it has to be set tenderly. You don't want somebody to take a crowbar and to try to set it. And we're in the bone setting business. So if you've fallen, we want to restore you. If you have a disease, we want to heal you by giving you the right nutrients, by giving you the right vitamins, through the right teaching, through the right fellowship, through the right interaction in our Sunday schools, in the ABF, in the small groups, in the choir, in all of our relationships. What we want to do is to help you be healed. Now, sometimes the body has a malignancy, and those are some cells that have just decided that they're going to do their own thing and not think of the good of the body. And that malignancy, such as cancer, these are healthy cells, but they no longer are acting for the good of the body. What they're saying to themselves is, we're going to do our own thing and we're going to become strong in ourselves. Now that's why there are times when the body needs church discipline. The Apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 5 regarding a man who needed discipline and the church was overlooking it, he says, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. So get rid of that man. Not getting rid of him permanently, but to restore him, cut yourself off from him and excommunicate him from the church. So that's a part of our responsibility too. You see, what God is saying is that we need each other. We need to submit, we need to serve, and then we need to support. Be devoted to one another, rejoice with them that rejoice, and weep with them that weep, and bring everybody along as the body grows. Today in your bulletin you have a statement of our vision for Moody Church. And I hope that you take it home and memorize it. It is to be known in Chicago as a caring, culturally diverse community. And a lot of weight rests on that word community. Because this isn't simply an ordinary community. This is a community that has been bonded together by Christ Himself. And that we might represent Christ through a clear witness, quality ministries, and individual lifestyles. Don't overlook that. Because there is such a thing as the church gathered, but there is also the church scattered. The church gathered on Sunday. The church scattered on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's where ministry happens. That's where there is the fire of God in the life of Moody Church. Remember when Jesus went to his hometown and he took the scroll from the synagogue and he began to read? Isn't it instructive as to what the people said? They didn't have any complaint about what he was reading, but what they said was, why is he doing that? This is the carpenter's son. Carpenters aren't supposed to read the Bible. This is for the priests. Now, my friend, today, the average person in the city of Chicago thinks this. Why are you talking about God and you're just a carpenter? Pastors and priests are supposed to be doing that. But I want you to know today that no matter what we preach, no matter what we sing, no matter what happens within this building, We will never impact the city of Chicago for Christ until there is a vision of every single person believing that he or she has been planted by God in their community and in their vocation to represent Jesus Christ. Until every carpenter knows that he is a carpenter for Christ. Until every banker knows that he is a banker for Christ. Until every hospital worker knows that he or she works there for Christ. Until every hairdresser knows that he or she is there for Jesus Christ. We will never enliven the city of Chicago, and the city will never talk about Christ, because we are his representatives. Have you ever noticed this? Turn to Acts, which is a book just before the book of Romans. And let's look at verse 1. The book of Acts, verse 1. Now, the book of Acts was written by Luke, just as the book of Luke was written by Luke. But notice what Luke says in verse 1 of Acts. He says, "The first account I have composed, Theophilus." Theophilus, that word means lover of God. That would be a nice name to name a son, Theophilus. "About all that Jesus began, both to do and to teach." What he's saying is, I wrote the book of Luke to tell you the things that Jesus began to do and to teach. Now, the book of Luke ends with the ascension. Could it be that what Jesus Christ began, he doesn't finish? Did he begin something and then end it halfway? No. The book of Acts is a continuation of what Jesus began, both to do and to teach. You see, the body of Jesus Christ, the physical body that was raised from the dead, is now in heaven. But Christ says, I am on earth just as surely as I was during my incarnation, because I am now there in the lives of my people, and they are my body, and they continue to do and to teach what I began. And you read it in the book of Acts, and then you read it through 2,000 years of church history with varying degrees of success and failure. The church continues the work of Christ. My friend today, will you remember that you have been created by God for his glory? You have been saved